Hello and welcome to World Talks on TVP World with me, Hashim Kumar. Today we welcome Cristian Preda, Professor of Political Science, University of Bucharest, to discuss major political and legal developments in Romania and their broader implications. Romanian prosecutors have launched an investigation into far-right politician Călin Georgescu over allegations of promoting antisemitism and ties to Russian interference. Meanwhile, US Senator Vice President Vance has criticized Romania over the annulment of its presidential election, and Elon Musk's online activity is fueling debates about external influence. Additionally, the controversial Tate brothers have been allowed to leave Romania, sparking concerns of political pressure from the Trump administration. Well, let's unpack these issues with our guest and welcome Professor to TP World. Thanks for taking the time.
Hello.
Hello. So let's start with Călin Georgescu. What do we know about what's happening with his legal predicament?
You know, he was under investigation since many weeks. In fact, the prosecutors came 2 days ago with an invitation to him to a conversation about different issues. First of all, they indicated the wish of Mr. Georgescu and some of his friends to reverse the democratic constitutional order. This is a very serious crime, one of the most serious in our...
But some professor might say, actually, the democratic order has been reversed by the Constitutional Court, who has, annulled the elections. What would you say to that argument?
You know, the Constitutional Court made this decision unique in our electoral history, based on different proofs related to Russian interference, to the manipulation of TikTok. The interpretation given by the Constitutional Court members was that the use of TikToks changed the sense of the message from information to disinformation. And it was also a very serious crime related to the financing part of the campaign. You know, Romania has a very strict and rigid law when it comes to the financing issues related to electoral campaign. You cannot spend, for example, more than 13 million euros in 2024. It is based on a calculation related to the minimum salary per month.
Yeah.
And Georgescu,
Professor, before we get to, sorry to interrupt you, but before we get to the financing of elections, just focusing on the democratic process, we have a soundbite from Vice President Vance on that issue. Let's have a look.
Romania straight up canceled the results of a presidential election based on the flimsy suspicions of an intelligence agency and enormous pressure from its continental neighbors. Now, as I understand it, the argument was that Russian disinformation had infected the Romanian elections. But I'd ask my European friends to have some perspective. You can believe it's wrong for Russia to buy social media advertisements to influence your elections. We certainly do. You can condemn it on the world stage even. But if your democracy can be destroyed with a few $100,000 of digital advertising from a foreign country, then it wasn't very strong to begin with.
Well, he may have a point there, don't you think, Professor? What do you think?
It's not true. I mean, I'm sorry, Vice President Vance has a very bad information. Mr. Georgescu, first of all, he declared €0 as finance. I mean, this is not true. I mean, you cannot do an electoral campaign with zero finance, you know. And the problem is that the evaluations done by businessmen who used this kind of publicity on TikTok says that it's something like 50 million euros. For Romania, 50 million, 50 million euros is a huge amount. I mean, it's not like in the States. Perhaps in the States, 50 million is nothing. But it's not what Vance said, a few thousands or hundreds of thousands of euros. It's about millions. And this is a serious crime to say, I do not spend any money, because, you know, the Constitutional Court has the right to cancel the elections. Unfortunately, I was very sad for that, but the Constitutional Court took this decision because the Russian interference was based on this hundreds and hundreds millions euros we're supposed to have in this campaign. I mean, I'm really shocked to see an American official supporting a far-right movement, and someone saying that he didn't spend $1 in his campaign. This is, I mean, it's completely crazy.
Understood.
How supporting someone?
I'd like in the few minutes that we have left, Professor, I'd like to talk about how this influences Romania's perception within, for example, the European Union and within NATO. Do you think there's been any change in the way that Romania is viewed by those bodies?
The Europeans, they gave us a total support. The only critique came from Vance and from Elon Musk, because, again, we have one high official, Mr. Vance, and a very influential person, Elon Musk, supporting a far-right politician, someone saying that he, once elected as president, he will ask for territories from Ukraine. I mean, someone contesting the borders of the country, supported by Americans. It's unbelievable.
Understood, Professor. Now, the Tate brothers have been released from house arrest in Romania and allowed to travel, and they're in the United States at the moment. Now, there is talk that the US government pressured the Romanian government to make this happen. What are your thoughts?
It's very strange, you know, these two brothers, they were obliged to stay in Romania the last 2 years, and yesterday morning everybody saw that a prosecutor accepted to give them the permission to leave Romania for Florida. They were not welcomed in Florida. Trump, he said that he didn't know something.
Well, what are your thoughts?
Something about that. But my thoughts, it's a little bit absurd, you know. So this is a combination of all these kind of crazy messages coming from Elon Musk and from the two brothers Tate, because they have the same attitude when it comes to moral values.
Are you suggesting, Professor, that the American government in some way pressured the Romanian government to release the brothers?
It's not impossible.
Understood. Okay, what happens next? Because I understand that the brothers have to come back to Romania for one more court hearing.
Yeah, they have a double citizenship, American and British citizenship. So Romanian prosecutors will expect them end of March, because they have some some procedures, judicial procedures to assume here.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they will come back.
Well, we shall see, Professor. Unfortunately, the clock has beaten us, but thank you very much for sharing your analysis with our audience. Have a good day, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye now. And that's all from us in this episode of World Talks. Goodbye.